Hi guys. So if you're running a marketing agency, you know how painful client onboarding can be. Endless emails, back and forth contracts, manually inputting data into like 10 different softwares. It takes a ton of your time. What if I told you there's a way you can automate all this using AI? And that's exactly why I built an AI agent that automates all this. And today I'm going to show you how I did it using a platform called n8n, which is a super flexible AI automation platform. So before we get into the demo, let's first see how the system is supposed to work. So what you're seeing on your screen right now is the workflow. So let me quickly zoom in. So it all starts when a client fills out a form. Once they submit it, a contract will be automatically generated and then emailed to them. If they don't sign it within 24 hours, we'll send them a reminder to sign the contract. And if they eventually sign it, we'll then send an acknowledgement email requesting availability for a kickoff call. The same thing will happen if they sign it within 24 hours. So next, if they reply confirming their kickoff call availability, we'll schedule the kickoff call. Then we'll update the CRM with any relevant details, and then we'll send a kickoff call reminder a few minutes to the call. And then once all this is done, we are going to update the agency team that the client has completed all onboarding steps. And the beauty of this is all of this is done automatically by the AI. Now let's hop on to n8n and show you how the system is working in real time. So before you even get to the demo, if you're thinking, wow, this system is cool, but I don't have time to figure this out, well, that's where my team comes in. We specialize in building AI systems that help companies save time, money, and a ton of headache. So feel free to reach out. Link is in the description below. Now, let's get to the demo. So in case you're wondering which platform you're using, we're going to use n8n. It's a workflow automation platform that helps us build all these amazing AI automations. So let's go to our workflow. Let's click on executions. Then, so we'll monitor this window. And then on our top right, we have our CRM, which is our Google Sheets. Then on our bottom right, we'll be monitoring our inbox. So let's first get started by filling out a form. So right here, we've got our client information form. Let's fill it out. Let's fill in our email address. Let's fill out a random phone number. Let's fill out a random company name. And then let's select social media as one of the services we require. Let's choose a project start date. Yeah, we're gonna skip the custom service request. We're just gonna leave it empty. And then let's select our monthly budget. Okay, there we go. Additional notes, we'll leave it as it is, empty. Then let's hit submit. As you can see on our left, the execution has started. So let's monitor our email as the execution is ongoing. And there we have it. We received an acknowledgement email. Let's open it up. You're pleased on service agreement, and as you can see, it also drafted the contract. So here it is. Everything looks great. Let's have a look at our CRM. Yep, so it updated our CRM, and under contract status it's pending signature. So I'd set a 5-minute reminder in case I don't sign the contract. So let's wait for 5 minutes and see if it'll send us a reminder. So it's been 5 minutes, and so here's our reminder. Let's open it. It's a reminder to sign our contract. So here's the email. This is a friendly reminder to sign the contract for our services, and then it's also attached the contract. And when we look at our CRM, under the sign contract reminder column, it's also updated it to reminder sent. So let's go ahead and sign this and then email it back. $20.25. Let's write a random address. Then let's sign. Then our date. So let's save it. Great, now we got it. Let's go back. So let's go back to our email. Let's reply to this. So attach email. So it's our signed email. We've attached it. Thanks. Here is the signed contract. Let's send it. So it's executing. Let's see if it will get back to us. Great, it got back to us. And if you look at our CRM, this column, the contract status column, has also been updated to signed. Great, so let's open the email. So thank you for sending the signed contract. We're excited to get started with Repo LLC. Could you please confirm your availability for a kickoff call? So let's reply to this. So I'm available anytime today. So today at 1:23 p.m. Let's hit send. Great, so it's executing. Let's look at our CRM. So it got back to us, and as you can see, it's updated the kickoff call date. Now the only thing left is the kickoff call reminder. So let's wait for another 5 minutes and see if we'll get a kickoff call reminder. So this is the email I've got. It's looking good. Let's wait for another 5 minutes and see. Here's a reminder. This is a friendly reminder that your kickoff call is scheduled to begin at 1:23. So the time now is 1:20 p.m. That's why it's sending me a reminder. We look forward to discussing the next steps. So let's look at our CRM. Kickoff call reminder has been updated to sent. And that's it. That's basically how the system operates. Now there's one thing I've left out. So let's check the team's email. Our team email. Yes, so here's the notification. The client has successfully completed all onboarding steps. Below are the details. As you can see, you're given the client name, email. Then the kickoff call has been scheduled and all records are updated in the system. Let's move forward with the project plan. Best regards. So it's working perfectly. Now let's look under the hood. Now that we've done the demo, let's look under the hood. So our system has got around 5 AI agents. So we'll start with the first agent, the AI agent. It's triggered by an on-form submission trigger. This on-form submission trigger gets all the details from the form, as you can see here on your right. Next, let's look at the AI agent. So this is the AI agent, and we are using a tools agent. Prompt we are defining below. Then under the text parameter, this is where we are feeding our inputs. So in our case, is everything in the form submission. And in case you don't know how to add inputs, you simply drag and drop like this. Then you're good to go. You'll see a preview at the bottom here, which means you're good to go. Then we are also giving it a current date. In case a client replies with something like schedule a meeting for today at like 4 p.m, it's going to have context of today's date and time. Great, so that's why we've added it here. Next, let's have a look at the system's prompt. So here's the overview. So you're an AI agent designed to manage form submissions, log data, generate contracts, analyze client trends, and send finalized contracts as email attachments with detailed summaries. Then we've given it context. Here's the context. Then we've given it instructions. Once the form is submitted, it's like start all the data from the form. Then we'll update Google Sheets. Then we'll do a trend analysis. We'll basically analyze the client ID trend, and the AI agent will assign a new client ID based on the trend. So if we have a look at the Google Sheet, here it is. As you can see, so this is the trend. We are assigning client IDs, and as you can see, it's matched the trend. So that's why we've got this instruction here. Then next, it's going to use a contract creation tool to generate a contract. Then it's going to send the generated contract via email. That's why you've got this instruction here. And then it's going to confirm all steps are completed. Then it's going to update Google Sheets. Then the tools we are giving it is an OpenAI chat model, update Google Sheets, get Google Sheets, contract creator tool, and send email with attachment tool. Then we've also given it examples. So in my case, this is the first example, then scenario 2 as the second example, and that's it. Then we also gave it a standard operating procedure. It's basically the same thing as the instructions. Then we gave it final notes, and that's it. So let's look at the individual tools. So under the OpenAI chat model, you need to first set up your credentials. So I had mine set up. The model you're using is GPT-4o. Then you're also using a window buffer memory. And under the window buffer memory, the session ID we're using defined below, and then under the key we're using this AI agent. AI agent is simply the name, this here. So you want the buffer. So you want this buffer memory to store instructions executed by this AI agent. Next, let's go to update Google Sheets. So you have to set up your credentials. If you don't know how to do it, I'll link to a video in the description below that shows you how to do it. Then tool description, it's set automatically. Resource is sheet within document. Operation is append or update row. Document is marketing agency CRM. Then sheet is sheet 1. On mapping column mode, we are mapping each column automatically, and the column to match on is the email address. And so these are the values we are inputting here. So this is what we are inputting at this stage. So we've got email address here, the client ID, the full name, and so on. So we've got it going all the way to the bottom there. And then we are also giving it a last contact date. So whenever it executes this, it's going to give a last contact date. Next, we've got our Get Google Sheets tool. So we've set up credentials, tools description, we've left it at automatically. Resource is sheet within document, the operation is get rules. Then we selected our document, the spreadsheet we want to use, and then the sheet 1. That's everything, that's basically it. Next, we'll go to our contract creation tool. So this is our sub agent. So think of this as a manager, and think of this as an employee under a manager. So it's going to call this is the sub agent, and then this is the main agent. So let's have a look at the contract creation tool, which is a sub agent. It basically calls another workflow. I'm going to walk you through it step by step. So the name is contract creation tool. Then we've gave it a description. So call this tool whenever you want to create a contract. Then the source is database. The workflow, we specify the workflow. So it's our docs contract creation workflow. Then the extra workflow inputs are this: the company name, services required, and so on, additional notes, estimated monthly budget. So let's open the workflow. Let's go back and open the workflow. Here it is. So it has an execute workflow trigger. Let's open the AI agent. So this is the AI agent, and it's a tools agent. The source is defined below. Then we are inputting the query. This is the query. Then we are giving it a system message. So this is the system message. So this is the overview. You're an AI agent responsible for editing specific sections of a template contract stored in Google Drive. You will create a copy of the template, update specific sections based on users' input, and provide downloadable version of the modified document. Then this is where we give it context. And then these are the instructions we've given it. So it will locate a template contract file in Google Drive. Instead of creating the contract from scratch, we're using this template. And so here it is. So we'll only edit specific sections of this. So let's go to our next instruction. So use copy Google Drive file tool to create a new editable version of the template. Open the new copy in Google Docs using update Google Docs tool. Then it will identify the specific sections to edit. Then it will make the requested updates while ensuring legal and structural integrity. Then it will save the updated document in Google Drive. Use the download Google Drive file tool to generate a downloadable link. Then after it's done, it will notify the user with a summary in changes. Then these are the tools we are giving the AI agent. Then these are the examples. Then this is the standard operating procedure and the final notes. Now that we've had a look at the AI agent, let's look at the tools. So our first tool is the OpenAI chat model. We're using the 4.0 version. The model we're using the GPT 4.0. And our first tool is update Google Docs. So you have to set up your credentials. The tool description is set automatic. The resources document, the operation is update. Then we are giving it, so here we're giving it the URL, the doc ID for the template document. and then here are the actions. So in order for it to update the template, we have to specify which sections need to be replaced. So for example, let me pull up the document. So here's the document. So for example, we'll copy paste this section under the old text. Then we'll use the from AI expression to tell the AI to edit that section. So, and that's the same case for everything else we've done here. Everything else, so that's the case. Next, let's look at the create Google Docs. Obviously, we set up credentials. Tool description is set to automatic. Resource is set to document. The operation is create. The drive name or ID is my drive. Then the folder name. Then the title. So here we are telling the AI to name the template copy. Next, we are going to the download Google Drive file. Tool description is set to automatic. The resource is file. The operation is download. Then here we are feeding the doc ID, the file ID. So here we're feeding the file ID of the template copy. And so we want it to download as PDF. That's why we've specified here as download as PDF. Then we have the copy. So we are using this to copy the template. The tool description has been set to automatic. Resource is file. Operation is copy. Then we are giving the file ID of the template. Then we are naming the copy. Then we're also giving it a description. That's it. Then once all this is done, we'll want to output only the document ID. So that's why we've added a structured output parser. In case you don't know how to do this, you just click on AI agent, then you'll toggle this, require specific output formats, then you'll click on output parser, then you'll click on structured output, then you will have to rename this. So you will, for example, we'll get rid of this, comma, then we'll name this for example file ID, then leave this as it is, then we're good to go. So let's go back to our main workflow. Our next tool is the send email with attachment tool. It's also a sub agent. So this is how it is. So we've named it send email with attachment. Then we've given it a description. So call this tool whenever you want to send an email with an attachment. Then the source is database. We've specified the specific workflow that we want to call. Then these are the extra inputs. Let's go to the workflow. Send email with attachment. So it has an execute workflow trigger, as you can see here, and whenever the main agent is calling the sub agent, it has to reference the email address, it has to give us the email subject, it has to give us the email body, and it also has to give us document ID. Then next we are going to the information. So next we look at the information extractor. So here's the information you're extracting. So we're extracting the query, then the client email, the doc ID. So this is what we are feeding the AI as context. So this is what we are feeding the AI. So query, document ID, client email. Then the schema type is from attribute descriptions. Then we give descriptions of every single bit of it. So So and then we're giving every parameter a description. So for example, the client email is a string of type string. So for example, you have the parameter client email of type string, and then we've given it a description. Same thing goes for the email subject, goes for the email body and the document ID. And that's it. So and the chat model we're using is GPT-4o Mini. Then we'll go to the download Google Drive file. So remember, here we're passing the already edited contract. So that's why we're feeding the doc ID here. So we want to download the already edited contract. So we'll use the Google Drive download file node. And then yeah, obviously you have to set up credentials for this. And then resources file, operation is download. Then the file is we'll feed it the document ID of the edited contract. Then we'll download it as PDF here. And so then the final node is Gmail. This is where we'll send the email together with the attachment. So set up credentials obviously, and then resource is message, operation is send. Then here we'll pass the client's email, then the email subject, we'll pass the email body here, and we'll send it as HTML. And then under attachments, it's data. Let's execute previous node to explain why I'm calling this data. Hold on, let me execute this. So here's why we're using. Hold on. So I've given you a scenario. So I've gone to executions. Went at the previously executed execution. Then I've copied to the editor. Let me go back and show you why we are naming it data. So let's open this node. As you can see, our file is called data. So we'll have to pass this name here, or else it won't know which attachment to include. So let's go back to our main workflow. Now that we're done with our first agent, let's go to our second agent. So this is our contract signed confirmation agent. It's using a Gmail trigger, and the Gmail trigger is set to monitor my inbox every minute, and the event is message received, and it's only gonna monitor my inbox and unread emails only. So let's look at the agent. So this is the input we're feeding. As you can see, we're feeding the message ID, thread ID, email body, client email. Let's have a look at the prompts. So here's the prompt. We're giving it an overview. So you're an AI agent designed to handle incoming client emails, verify client details, update contract statuses, respond to acknowledgement emails, schedule kickoff call events, update the client database in Google Sheets, and finally notify the internal team at Ecom module that the client has completed all onboarding steps. So that's the overview. Then here we're giving it context. Then here are the instructions. So it will ignore all internal team emails. It will also ignore emails that are not related to either a signed contract or a kickoff call. Then it will check the email against the client database. So this is what it will do. Let me pull up my Google Sheets. So here is what it will do. So if it will check the email address of the sender, and if it doesn't match any email addresses in this column, it will skip, and if it matches, it will proceed to do checks. So it will then go to verify the contract status. So let's say the email was from this guy, so it will check the contract status. So it will go to the contract status column. It will check, as we said, it's going to check the contract status. And if the contract status is already signed, it will skip further actions related to contract acknowledgement. And then if the contract status is not signed or another value equivalent to that, it will proceed to update the contract status column only, and then it will send an acknowledgement email for the signed contract. Then it will schedule a kickoff call. Then it will send a kickoff call email using the reply Gmail tool. Then it will update Google Sheets. Then it will notify the internal team whenever the client has gone through all onboarding steps. Then here we are giving it the tools and giving a description for each tool. Then here are the final notes. That's it with this agent. So for the chat model, we are using 4O mini. Window buffer memory, we are giving memory to the contract signed confirmation agent, that's this agent. Then the Google Calendar create event node, you have to set up credentials, set automatic under tool description. Resource is event, operation is create, calendar is my calendar. Then start date, we are telling the AI to figure out what the start date for the kickoff call is. Then the end date. Then we also giving it the attendees, the description. Next, let's look at the update Google Sheets. Tool description is automatic, resources within sheets, sheet within document, resources sheet within document, operation is update row. Then we give in the Google Sheet document and the necessary sheets. Then we'll map each column manually. Then we'll column to match on email address. So it will match with email address here. Then we're giving it, so we are filling in, we're updating these columns. So we're updating the email address column, the contract status column, the kickoff call date column, and the last contact date column. Let's go to the check Google Sheets tool. So here we've set to automatic, sheet within document, the operation is get rows. Then here we've given it the documents. Next, let's go to the reply Gmail. Using our Gmail account, the credentials obviously I had set up earlier. Tool description is automatically, the resources message, the operation is reply, then the message ID, we're giving it a message ID, then HTML, then the from AI email body, then send Gmail. Obviously we've got to set up credentials, then set then set automatically the tool description, the resources message, the operation is send, and then the email address of the client, the subject, the body, and we are sending it as HTML. Let's go to our next agent. So this is our next agent, the contract reminder AI agent. It's being triggered by a scheduled trigger. The scheduled trigger is set for every 5 minutes. And so let's have a look at the AI agent. So we're using a tools agent here. The prompt we are defining below. Then as input, we are giving it the time now. And then this is really, by the way, this is so under the inputs, we're giving it the time now. This is really important because it needs to check. So it needs to check if 5 minutes have passed. So if you give it the time now, and in our Google Sheets, we have our last contact date. It's going to do the difference and see how many minutes have passed ever since the last contact date. That's why we are feeding it the time now. So let's look at the system's prompt. So we're giving it an overview, we're giving it contexts, then we're giving it instructions. So on instructions, the workflow is triggered by a schedule. Then it's going to retrieve data from Google Sheets, and then it's going to filter eligible clients. So for example, for each row, check if client meets the following criteria: the signed contract reminder. This column must indicate that no reminder has been sent. Then the contract status must be not signed. Then the last contract date must be at least 5 minutes since this timestamp. Ideally, it's supposed to be 24 hours, but I set it to 5 minutes. Then revalidate the contract status immediately before sending reminder. Then the next instruction is extract the document ID from the contract URL. Then we've given it how it's supposed to do it. So as I was doing it, I noticed the contract URL also contains the document URL. So this is the URL, and then this is the document ID. So here I'm giving it an example of how it should extract the document ID. Then next is then next is compose reminder email. So here it will compose the reminder email. We've given it an example. Then we've given it the next instruction is send email reminder. Then it will update Google Sheets after. Then here we're giving it the tools. Then here giving it the final notes. So we're also using the send email with attachment tool here to send the email. Next is the update Google Sheets tool. Description set to automatic. Sheet within document. Operation is update row. Then we're giving it the document. Then the mapping is with email address. Then we're updating the email address, the contract reminder status, and the last contract dates. Then we get Google Sheets. Here we're getting the Google Sheet. Set the tool description is set to automatic. Then the responsive sheet within document. Then get rows. Then document is this, and that's it. Next, let's go to our next. So let's go to our next agent. So this is the kickoff call reminder agent. So it's scheduled. So it has a schedule trigger. So this is also scheduling at intervals of 5 minutes. Let's look at the AI agent. It's a tools agent. Here we haven't given it any text. I think we need to add time now. So yeah, so under prompt, so it's a tools agent. The source is defined below. Then we're giving it the current time. So let's have a look at the system's prompts. So here's the overview. Then you're giving it context. Then so here are the instructions. So it's a trigger workflow. So it's going to activate at intervals of 5 minutes. Then it's going to retrieve and validate data from Google Sheets. Then it's going to check for upcoming kickoff calls. So it's going to compare the kickoff call date and time with the current time. Then it's going to identify rows where the kickoff call date and time is within the next hour. The kickoff reminder status indicates no reminder has been sent. Then we're going to compose reminder emails. Then we're going to send the reminder emails. Then we'll update the Google Sheet. Then we'll log actions. Then here are the tools. And here are the examples. So we've only got example. Yeah, so here are the examples. We have 2. Then we have SOP. Basically what I've gone through in the instruction section. Then the final notes. And that's it. And so for this agent, we're using the GPT-4 Mini model, and we are using a send message Gmail node set automatically under tool description. The resource is message, the operation is send, then we're giving the client email, subject, and the body, and we're sending the email in HTML format. Then next we'll go to Google Sheets. Set to, so it's the tool description is set to automatically. Then the sheet is within document. Operation is get rows. Then the document is this, and that's it. Let's go to our update Google Sheets. It's basically the same thing as the Google Sheets tool we've seen from other sections. So here the Google Sheet, so here's the update Google Sheet. So tool description set automatically, resource is sheet within document, and then the operation is update row. Then we specify the document here. Then the mapping column mode, we've set the email address. Then we're updating the email address, the kickoff call reminder status, and the last contact date. And that's it. We've gone through everything in this system. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. In case you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. And in case you want me to build systems like this for your business, feel free to reach out. Link is in the description below.